All right, so what do we, where in the digestive tract are we looking? Look at those, use those identifiers that we were just talking about. Go from the lumen outwards.
Stomach.
So if one of those things isn't clear to you, try and back it up. Or try and reinforce what you're thinking with one of those other layers. It's okay, you guys can guess. I'm not testing you out. The esophagus. Why do you say the esophagus? You see stratified squamous there at the lumen, so that should be number one, right? That lumen is somewhat convoluted, so since we're not zoomed in very well, you might say, hey, well, it's kind of confusing. It kind of looks like the mucosa is folded, right? But if you look outward, if you look more towards the superficial region of the esophagus, what is all this? You guys should recognize this very, very well. What's that? Is that serosa? What's serosa made of? What type of tissue is serosa made of? That? No? Okay, let's go over our tissues. What type of tissues do we find in the human body? Epithelial tissue, nervous tissue, muscle tissue, and connective tissue. So, does this look to you guys to be muscle?
No.
Does it look like nervous tissue?
No.
Does it look like epithelial tissue?
No.
So what type of tissue?
Irregular connective.
This is connective tissue. This is fibrous connective tissue. So this can't be serosa because serosa is made of a layer of simple squamous epithelial tissue. So what is this? This is adventitia. So if you can't see the lumen and the mucosa very well, or you have some sort of idea, use deductive reasoning. Go somewhere else and see what you can find. See what piece of evidence you can use to back up what it is you're thinking. Don't just look at the slides and say, well, I don't recognize that slide. Throw your hands up and be like, well, forget it. I don't recognize it. That's not what we're trying to teach you. You guys know this stuff. We've gone through this. We've gone through 75% of the semester. You guys know the types of tissue that you find in the human body. You should know how to recognize them under a microscope.
Is that swath of tissue the middle there skeletal muscle tissue?
It's hard to tell what it is. Yes, absolutely. This is the muscularis externa. And you can very easily see that there are two layers, too, right? So sometimes it's not what you see, it's what you don't see. So if this were stomach, there'd be 3 layers of muscle. So you can just kind of go through this little concept map in your brain and say, well, it can't be this, so it might be this, but I don't see this, so it can't be that. Just go through the steps. You guys know it. Don't get freaked out because you don't recognize the slide right away.